What I'm holding right now is what I consider to be the most underrated credit card in the world. Very few creators actually talk about this card, and when they do, they don't actually show you the steps to get approved because yes, there is a couple of loops that you have to jump through to get that approval. So in this video, I'll show you absolutely everything that you need to know about this card, as well as breaking down step by step what you need to do to get approved, and then maybe I'll even throw in a quick unboxing because it's never been done on YouTube before. Also, thank you guys for 2,000 subscribers. You guys are all studs. Love you guys. So let's first talk about what this card is and how it works. It's mostly only talked about on Reddit forums because most creators on YouTube are team travel, and a lot of people just don't know that this card exists. So this is one of US Bank's co-branded credit cards. The most popular is the Kroger World Elite Mastercard, but there's actually 11 different versions. There's the Dillons, Fred Meyers, Fry's, Harris Teeter, King Soopers, Kroger, Mariano's, Pick and Save, QFC, Ralph's, and then Smith's. You probably don't recognize most of those. I only recognize Ralph's because I think that's the only one in California, but they're all part of the Kroger branded stores. So first off, this card gives you a $100 sign-up bonus after you spend $500 within 3 months. So very easy to hit. You usually want to see $200 with a cashback card, but we'll take $100 because most cards like this don't even give you a sign-up bonus at all. But the flagship feature of this card is that it gives you 5% back when you use it in mobile wallet pay. And notice that I said mobile wallet pay and not Apple Pay, and that's very key because if you get a card like the Apple Card, it locks half of the nation out of using it because it can only be used in the Apple Wallet, whereas this card can be used if you're an Apple or an Android user. The only real drawback to this card is that 5% back in mobile wallet pay is capped at $3,000 a year. Anything over that is only going to earn 1% back. That cap resets every year, January 1st, meaning if you get this card a little bit later in the year, you'll have more to spend within a shorter amount of time. But I understand that $3,000 isn't a crazy amount of spend in a year. It's actually not very much at all. That only shakes up to about $250 a month. But that's okay because there's some solutions that I found where this card still will make sense in your wallet despite that low spend cap. So first of all, if you already have a complicated setup, for example, let's say that you're running the Chase Trifecta. You could use this card when the Freedom Flex isn't giving you something like 5% back on gas or groceries because you can really use it anywhere. You can also use it for those weird places that you end up going that you don't get more than 2% back on a credit card with. For example, something like a candle shop or a Petco or maybe a barber shop or something. So this card is really just a Swiss Army knife and it can really find a place in anyone's setup. I mean, it's pretty much a free $150 a year. Also, a strategy that a lot of people like to use is that when you go to apply, you actually fill out 2 different applications for 2 different versions of these cards and then hit apply at the same time, and US Bank is only going to hard pull your credit once. That way you end up with 2 of these cards, have $6,000 worth of mobile wallet spend a year, and are only getting 1 hard pull. Make sure you're not going for any Chase card soon because that of course will affect your 524 status. I also usually recommend that people get the Pick and Save, Harris Teeter, or Ralph's version because those 3 cards are going to give you an extra 3% back up to $6,000 a year when you spend in dining or gas. Now, most people just get this card for the 5% back on mobile wallet pay, and that's great, but if you shop at Kroger or one of these Kroger branded stores, this card is an absolute no-brainer. It'll give you 5% back in Kroger when you use Kroger Pay. That's like their QR code. It's inside of their app, up to $3,000. And then after that, it'll be 2% back. And you also get a free Boost membership, which gives you 2 fuel points per every dollar spent at Kroger. This is kind of a weird program that Kroger has, but to give you a simple example, if you were to spend $500 a month at Kroger, at the end of the year, you'd get around $240 of free fuel. So like I said, no brainer if you already shop at Kroger, you're getting 5% back on groceries up to $3,000 a year, and you can also save a bunch of money on Kroger's fuel if you have that Boost membership. So now let's talk about how to actually get approved for this card step by step because unfortunately it's not quite as simple as just going in and hitting submit. So the thing that everyone misses when talking about this card is that you need a Kroger shopping card. This is just their free loyalty program. It's like the same thing as Target Circle. So what you're going to want to do to get approved for this card is first go to Google and type in Kroger shopping card. After you're inside their website, click create a free account. To create your account, put in your first name, last name, email, and then password. At the bottom, they're going to ask for your Plus card or alternate ID, which you will not have, but don't worry, they're going to make one for you. You then agree to their terms and conditions. Then you can sign in. First, they're going to have you verify your email. If I go over to Gmail, you can see that I just click confirm email, and that will bring me to another setup page where I can put in my number if I want to, but it's optional, and the ability to create an alternate ID. So for this one, you could skip this step, but it's a 10-digit code and it'll make the application for the credit card a lot easier. So just put in your phone number because that's 10 digits and it's obviously easy to remember. After that, you put in your address and you're all set. Then from there, you can go and apply for one of the Kroger cards. Once you're on the Kroger application page, it'll ask you for your shopper's card number or your alternate ID, which will be your phone number that you just entered or whatever other 10-digit number you chose. If you skip that step, you can also get your shopper's card number inside your profile. You'll then put in your first name, last name, email address, phone number, date of birth, social security number, and then your address. The next page, you're going to put in your housing, your citizenship, and then your income and employment. The next page asks you if you want an authorized user. The next page after that, you can review all your information to make sure it's right, and then you can review the terms and conditions and then hit submit. Now, this is a co-branded US Bank cards, and usually US Bank is pretty stingy with their approvals and their credit limits. So if you really want to boost your odds, you can open up a checking account with US Bank, which will be free as long as you have one of their credit cards. Also, aim for a credit score of over 700 to get approved. Some people say that there is a geo-fence, meaning that if I'm in California, I wouldn't be able to apply for one of the Kroger cards in a different state, but other people have gotten successfully approved for Kroger cards like the Harris Teeter in different states, so it's kind of hit or miss with that one. The subscriber who I helped get approved for this card and also let me inbox his card got approved with a 710 credit score, one recent inquiry, 10 months of average credit age, and then one total account. His highest credit limit before this one was $300, and that was with the US Bank Altitude Go, which is a secured card. On this card right here, he got a $500 credit limit, which surprisingly he was actually really happy with because he doesn't really spend a lot of money. But most people get approved with around a $3,000 limit, which is obviously very low, but it's what you expect from US Bank, and also this card isn't a card that you're going to be putting a lot of spend on anyways. So here's the card right here. It just came in a plain white envelope. And of course, I had to go through and block out a lot of the information so this guy doesn't get doxxed. So first up, we just have the welcome pack. And you can see that we get that 5% back on Kroger and then mobile wallet. We also get that 3% back on fuel and then dining because this is the Rouse version. And then you get another flyer with more information on how to set up the Boost membership. Next is all the terms and conditions. And there's really nothing special in here. I'm not going to read it all. But one thing that does stand out is that there is no foreign transaction fee. So you can use this card anywhere in the world and not get penalized for it.
Here's the Ralph's card. It's nice to the touch. It really feels like a sturdy card. Not as nice as an Amex, as you guys probably know, but it's a nice card. Ralph's, I think they did a good job with this.
You can see the credit limit is $500 right here. And then if you weigh the card, it is 5 grams, which is standard with plastic cards. The Discover It is also 5 grams. And then the heavier cards like the Metal Amex Gold is 15, as well as the Prime Visa being 13. If you want to set up a call or a Zoom with me where I look at your personal situation and tell you which credit card makes sense for you and help you build a custom credit card setup that meets your needs, as well as helping you get approved for those cards, just like I did with this person, I have a link for that down in the description.